In this episode, a JoliCloud Branded Netbook, Google Chrome 7, and Microsoft supports OpenStack. QuickSurf Internet Media presents Linux News Log, separating the Linux and open source signal from the noise. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm your host Adrian, coming to you almost live from lovely Phoenix, Arizona, here in Studio C1 at QuickSurf Internet Media. Linux News Log is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Do feel free to head on over to techpodcast.com and check out all the other technology-related shows over there. Let's go ahead and get into the stories for Season 11, Episode 13. From PR Newswire, Force10 Networks announces support for Oracle VM and Oracle Linux for its virtualization solutions. Force10 Networks, a global technology leader that data center service provider and enterprise customers rely on when the network is their business, today announced plans to build network automation solutions that support Oracle VM Server for x86 virtualization software and Oracle Linux. Force10 will help ensure interoperability and complementary virtualization of network resources as they develop virtualization solutions based on their open automation framework while utilizing the functionality of Oracle VM and Oracle Linux. So this is kind of interesting. If you're a Force10 user and you're looking to get into some Oracle VM stuff, this has got to be welcome news. From MarketWatch.com, Cavium and MontaVista announce availability of Android platform on the ECONA ARM processors. Cavium Networks, a leading provider of semiconductor products that enable intelligent processing for networking, communications, and the digital home, and MontaVista, a leader in embedded Linux commercialization, announced the availability of a reference platform with Android on the ECONA dual-core ARM processors for the digitally connected home and office applications such as FTTX, broadband gateways, networked storage, internet streaming devices, and SMB gateways. So this is kind of neat. These new ARM processors are providing market-ready platforms for customers who are in need of them. From an end user point of view, this really isn't going to change a lot, but it's still pretty neat to just kind of see, what's going on behind the scenes in Linux land. And that's largely a large reason why I do this show. From lilyputing.com, a JoliCloud branded netbook on its way. Really? Now, we've reported on JoliCloud before in the past, but JoliCloud founder Tariq Krim has confirmed that a netbook bearing the JoliCloud name and presumably running the company's custom Linux operating system is in the works. Today, Krim shared a few photos on Twitter showing the netbook and the box it will likely come in. And if you ask me, it looks pretty sharp. So check it out. JoliCloud's a pretty nice little netbook operating system. From Linux Insider, OpenOffice Council shows LibreOffice fans the door. With the Oracle-related antics going on this fall, it seems safe to say that those of us in the FOSS, otherwise known as the FOSS, community haven't really needed to watch much TV. After all, we've laughed, we've cried, we've dropped our jaws in amazement, all just by observing the drama going on right around us with regard to OpenSolaris, OpenOffice, and all the other projects whose fates were cast to the wind when Oracle purchased Sun. Yeah. So there's OpenIndiana and LibreOffice. They were intended to rejuvenate projects that had been left to stagnate by Sun. Oracle plans to stick with the OpenOffice.org rather than donating the brand to the Document Foundation. So it just really raises a lot of questions. There's a lot going on with this. Check out the article, but I thought that I would bring it to everybody's attention, especially like me, if you're an OpenOffice user. Oracle's motives aren't necessarily clear at this point. From the International Business Times, in their tech section, there's a story here entitled Microsoft Joins Open Source Brigade, Will Support the OpenStack Project. Microsoft has announced its partnership with open source cloud platform provider Cloud.com to integrate its virtualization tool Hyper-V with the OpenStack project. In its new avatar as an open source ally, I think that's debatable, but still nonetheless, Microsoft will provide architectural and technical guidance to Cloud.com, while Cloud.com will develop the code to integrate Windows Server 2008 R2 Hyper-V, which is Microsoft's hypervisor for those of you who aren't familiar, to make it compatible with OpenStack. Now that's neat. The OpenStack project uses open source software to offer on-demand compute and storage services. OpenStack was started by NASA and Rackspace to scale their infrastructure clouds. Rackspace supports the cloud storage part while NASA supports its cloud platform. So pretty neat stuff. Currently, OpenStack supports Zen, Cavium, Citrix Zen Server, QEMU, I never get the pronunciation right, hypervisors. Microsoft will be just one more addition to the little portfolio of support that they have there. It'll be nice to actually be able to use Microsoft's hypervisor on something of that nature. And kind of ironic because you've got, basically a Microsoft product running on top of an open source with open source underneath it. So, it's a little ironic that the open source is doing that, but still, nonetheless, it's a good addition. I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. It's not about necessarily open source. It's about using the right tool for the right job. And, sometimes it's open source, sometimes it's proprietary software. From tmcnet.com, in their Advanced Carrier Services channel, MontaVista releases Advanced Carrier Grade Edition Linux 6.0. Now, this is kind of interesting because of the previous news that we announced here just a few stories back, but I thought that I would bring it up anyway. MontaVista is by no means standing still. Carrier Grade Edition 6.0, they've been doing regular releases for quite a while. We've reported on it. It's good stuff. By all means, check it out if you're in that market space. From the Buzz catalog, Google Chrome 7 Stable version has been released. Google has released Chrome 7 Stable and fixed over 800 bugs on the three major platforms, Windows, Mac, and Linux. Google has notably improved the management of HTML5 language, tipped to become a standard by using a new algorithm for analyzing web pages. Indeed, the API allows HTML5 file sites and web applications to read the contents of local files. In addition, the new version of Chrome 7 now fully supports AppleScript for OS X, if that's your thing, and a new management window to list the blocked sites while preventing them to create or modify cookies, which would be nice because that would be an attack vector for those of you who are security conscious. So anyway, check it out. It's pretty neat stuff. That'll pretty much do it for this edition of Linux News Log. As always, everything we've talked about is linked up in the show notes. Visit us on the web at linux.quicksurf.com. If you're not already aware, you can subscribe to an OGG Vorbis feed, an MP3 feed, an iPod compatible feed, and an HD MPEG-4 feed. The OGG Vorbis feed primarily is for Linux users that don't want to use MP3. By far, the vast majority of my audience is actually running on Windows and uses iTunes. But still, nonetheless, it's interesting. If you want to try out some of the other feeds, feel free to do so. You can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/Adrian_Bacon. And with that, I will see all of you on the next episode. I'll see you then. Bye.